Welcome to Puddle! Into this update, we're gonna get all of the gold medals on the extreme difficulty in the sewers. There are pretty large parts of this level which are self-explanatory. There's not a whole thing to do except, well, doing it. You're just getting used to Rat-goo here. There's absolutely no hurry, you're not in any kind of danger whatsoever. Those flames right here, they're no threat whatsoever. In fact, I'm not even sure why this wheel of fire is here because it's not threatening in any kind of way at all. So in order to make this platform tilt but not have your goo spread out into the fire, you have to pretty much gently approach the platform and then tilt your camera to the left in order to finally make it incline. If you do it too rough, you're just going to end up with all of your goo in the fire. And contrary to the normal difficulty, fire will instantly destroy your goo. For these sections, just slowly hinge your liquid forward bit by bit. Your other liquid is not gonna run off into the fire, it's just gonna wait. It has all the time in the world. This is the trickiest part of the entire level. It's really hard to get all of your massive liquid here. You just have to do it really slow and gentle, and make sure you don't tilt your camera too much to the right because there is no rugged surface in order to hold your liquid forever. It will just slip out of control. As for the rest of the level, it's self-explanatory, so just enjoy the somber atmosphere of the sewers. Even though this section is pretty slow, you're gonna have to do it rather fast because since the wheel spins a whole lot faster on this difficulty setting, you'll have to be much quicker in order to catch it in a way so that you'll be able to go through it without having to go through the sides that are covered with fire. As I'm going to make my way through the wheel, you will notice that pretty much the entire ground leading to it is covered with sticky grass and therefore it will slow down your liquid a whole lot. So if you have to stop your entire liquid from going forward, then you're pretty much boned because it will be really hard to go through this alternate route that will allow you to complete the level really fast. I talked about this route earlier and yeah, whenever you're going there, you have absolutely no adversity to go through. And taking this route will be very helpful in getting the gold medal, because it also happens that the part-time requirement in order to get medals have been significantly lowered on this level whenever you play on extreme difficulty. Now, I didn't address this into the video, but it looks as if you need more power in order to open up this gate, so you may have to bring your entire liquid mass a couple of times through the wheel before you can build up enough power. Yeah, the gate is almost open, but hey, I'm still missing one little hinge of power, so we do need that little extra push in order to keep things from going forward. Even if you think you're gonna open up the gate, it's just better to send your liquid in anyway because you're probably gonna lose much more time just making your way all the way down from the bottom of the level to the top than doing the opposite. On extreme difficulty, you'll have to be a whole lot more mindful of these launching sections because the jet streams are a whole lot weaker, so you have to be much more careful. You have to launch your liquid in the air by pretty much bringing it to a complete halt just before you enter the jet stream, otherwise you're just gonna launch your liquid into a wall. Oh, and somehow I managed to keep my liquid together, which is a feat, and it's really necessary because in this level your liquid counts for a lot. You may find that it helps getting through this section if you slam your liquid really hard against the spinning gear in the direction that you kinda want in order to avoid the saw blades. If you try to take it slow, you may end up dying a whole lot more. Okay, or maybe you simply rush through this level as fast as you can and to hell with liquid because I barely needed any in the end. This is a tricky level to get gold on, mainly because there are no sections in this level which can be considered as easy. Every single one of these parts can either cause your liquid to explode or melt or anything, or you're just gonna waste so much time that you'll be unable to get any kind of metal, or you will simply be sliced to pieces by a saw blade. For me, this is the hardest section of the entire level because it's so easy for your liquid to simply go into the shaft of fire and simply melt out of existence. You have to do really gentle movements here. In fact, you have to do pretty gentle movements almost everywhere through this entire level. It really is a nasty one. I've already said it into the main gameplay video, but I'll say it again. This is the hardest level of the entire chapter to get a gold medal on, because you have to be both really fast and very precise, because you simply cannot afford to crack your ball, or at least, if you crack it, make sure it's really close to the end of the level. There is one part where I just destroy my glass ball utterly in an attempt to save time. There will be more info on this later whenever we'll get there. As for this part, there's not really any kind of trick to this. You have to be really careful, and whenever you're having a slope downward like this, you just reel your screen back, and whenever there are long stretches where there's absolutely no obstacles or anything, you just rush forward. Hello, Mr. Spooky Wrecking Ball. How are you doing? Just swinging around, it seems. Now, your mileage may vary onto the Raising Bridge section, but usually I find it to be absolutely no threat whatsoever. Even though there are times where it comes pretty close. As for this section, you just try to fall through this long vertical shaft in one go. This is pretty much the best way to save time, but you have to be careful because it may horribly backfire upon you. But we're pretty much at the end of the level, so this mistake shall not cost us a whole lot. Yeah, the end of this playthrough has been kinda sloppy, but we're pretty much talking about speed. I don't care at doing a perfect job, I only want to do as good as it needs to be. Oh yeah, do I need to remind you that we had gold on normal by having 2 minutes and 15 seconds about? On extreme difficulty, this is a level which is almost entirely trial and error. There is pretty much only one way possible to go through this entire level, and it's up to you to figure it out. Basically, you have to fill up your entire ink bottle at the beginning of the level, because the game grades you on your performance based on how fast you were at filling up the bottle. Basically, if you do it either close to the end or even up until that point, I'm pretty sure that won't earn you a medal at all. This entire level is pretty much entirely played by the skin of your teammate. And yeah, you cannot rush these pistons whatsoever. You have to take your time and let go every single one of them before you progress forward. And yes, they can collide with your wheels. It won't matter, but you can't afford to let it touch the main structure itself. Damn, Damn, that ink bottle looks really gross. I'm not sure I would want to buy it or use that ever. And that's it for the sewers. They now have a nice gold coating made out of real gold into them. So, coming up next, the journey of a rocket, then the planning stages, the inner space, and the outer space. Chapter 6, Rocket.